Hello, everyone. I am Collector Queen. Let me ask you something. How many times have you walked past a game and thought, I'll buy it later? It's cheap and I've seen it 10 times already. Be honest. You've been there 20, 30, maybe 50 times. Sitting in a bargain bin, tucked between 3 copies of FIFA, priced at €5, maybe less. And every single time you said the same thing, I'll buy it later. It's not going anywhere. I've seen this 100 times. Well, I completed my full PAL PS3 library. And let me tell you, those later games, they become freaking nightmares, you know? Because when you're down to your last titles for a complete set, those €5 games you ignored for years, suddenly they're not on shelves anymore. Suddenly you're paying €30 for a cooking sim. Suddenly you're importing a German modeling game you've never even heard of. Today, I'm breaking down the 15 games that every completionist walks past until it's too late. These aren't expensive grails. They're the I'll get it eventually trap. If you're hunting a full PAL PS3 set, or even just curious about rare PS3 games, stick around. Because I promise you, you've ignored at least half of these. Let's go. Let's be real. Who was playing NASCAR in Europe in 2014? Exactly. Almost nobody. This was a super late release, and because it's a US-centric sport, the PAL distribution was microscopic. Most collectors don't even have it on their radar because they assume it's a US exclusive, but it's not. But trying to find a copy with a clean PAL spine today, it's a nightmare. It's the definition of obscurity. You don't see it because you're not looking for it. To Blob 2. This is the I'll buy it later king. It looks like a generic kids game, right? You've seen it for $5 100 times. But here's the thing. Everyone thought the same way. The copies stayed on shelves, got sent back, or destroyed. Suddenly, everyone trying to finish a complete PS3 set realizes they actually need it, and the cheap copies vanish. It's a surprisingly solid platformer, but as a collector, this one is a ticking time bomb in a few years. So, be warned, queens and kings. Order Up, a cooking simulator for the PS3. Most people think, yeah, we port and keep walking. But Order Up actually has a dedicated PAL physical release that is becoming increasingly annoying to track down. It's usually found in terrible condition, sticky cases, missing manuals, because the few people who bought it actually played it to death. It's not really expensive yet, but I think that can change in a few years from now. If you see a mint copy in the wild, don't hesitate. Oh, don't tell anyone. Shh. But I like playing this game. Turbo Super Stunt Squad, the DreamWorks curse. These movie tie-ins are the bane of my existence. When Turbo came out, the PS4 was already the shiny new toy. This game had a tiny print run and was immediately relegated to the bottom of bargain bins. Now, it's one of those titles that collectors realize they're missing at the very end. It's not a, masterpiece, but for a completionist, it's a massive roadblock that surprisingly is creeping up in price. Mindjack. Everyone told you this unique action shooter set in 2031 was bad. And they weren't lying. It's a weird, clunky Square Enix experiment that failed miserably. But bad games make great collectibles because nobody bought them. It's a ghost. You'll find 20 copies of Uncharted before you see one Mindjack. It's the perfect example of a game that is rare simply because the world collectively decided to ignore its existence in 2011.
Did I make these guys jumpy too?
Mobile 1, unknown hostiles in Sector 5. Request data loop. Do you copy?
Germany's Next Top Model. This game is a regional disaster, in every sense of the word. If you aren't in Germany, you've likely never even heard of it. It's a localized PAL exclusive that most of the world doesn't believe is real. I've had collectors tell me, that's not a real PS3 game. But it's real, you know. Let's be honest, this has the worst gameplay of all time, terrible graphics, and so many loading screens. It is, frankly, unplayable. But it's a massive thorn in the side of anyone trying to build a full PAL set. It's the ultimate, why do I own this? Until you check the eBay prices and realize that it's rare, a bit expensive, and a total badge of honor for the completionist. Fritz, chess on a PS3? That can run Grand Theft Auto 5? Yeah, I know. It sounds like the setup for a bad joke. But here's the thing. Fritz isn't just some random chess game. It's a legit legend in the chess world. The PS3 version, though? It's basically a ghost. You won't find it chilling in the featured section. Nope. It's always hiding in the shadows, squeezed between two dusty copies of FIFA 12, like, it's embarrassed to be there. If you ever spot one, snatch it up quick. Because this phantom is way rarer than that painfully boring cover art would ever let on. Pure football. Ubisoft tried to do street football, but without the style. It landed with a thud. Because it's not FIFA or Pro Evolution, sports collectors ignore it. And action gamers? They don't want it. It fell through the cracks of history. It's one of those games where the supply was low, and, well, the demand was, zero. Until now, when the collectors have arrived. Finding a PAL copy in good condition is getting harder every single month. Seen it. The classic big box curse. Most people hear Seen It and immediately picture those massive bundles with the buzzers and all the plastic crap. So what did everyone do? They tossed the big box, lost the discs, or sold the whole thing at a car boot sale. That's why finding a clean, standalone PAL copy of Seen It is surprisingly painful. It's a budget quiz game that somehow turned into a proper hunt. You know how it goes. You think, I'll grab it later, until later suddenly costs you 25 euros for a bloody, stupid, freaking quiz game. Happy Feet 2. Yeah, I know. Another late cycle movie tie-in about dancing penguins. Not exactly the kind of game that makes you scream, shut up and take my money. But here's the brutal truth. These are exactly the games that make or break a complete PS3 collection. Happy Feet 2 had a ridiculously small print run compared to the first one, so what started as total filler has quietly become a proper pain in the ass to find. Don't be that person in 2026 paying stupid money for dancing penguins. Trust me. Just grab it while it's still cheap. Putty Squad. A lot of people don't even realize this came out on disc for the PS3. It dropped super late in the console's life, so everyone just assumes it's a PS4 or Vita game. Because of that, the PS3 physical version has become a legit rarity. Basically a ghost on shelves. It's a remake of a beloved 90s classic, but on PS3 it's flying completely under the freaking radar. So if you're digging through a local shop and spot that little purple blob on the spine, do yourself a favor and snatch it up immediately. It's the ultimate hidden in plain sight gem. Damage Inc. Pacific Squadron World War II. Whoa, talk about a mouthful of a title. When you're digging through bargain bins, this one is pure background noise. It looks exactly like every other cheap flight sim that got dumped on the market back in the day. Just another generic box with planes on the cover that your brain automatically filters out. But here's the thing. Damage Inc. is the one that actually got away. It wasn't marketed, it wasn't reviewed, and it basically vanished from shelves without anyone noticing. One minute it was there, the next, poof, gone. Now it's turned into this quiet little phantom that a lot of collectors are desperately hunting for. So if you spot it hiding in the mess, do yourself a favor and grab it. Most people walk straight past it, and from now on, you won't. Handball 17. This is it. quite literally one of the very last PAL games ever released on the PS3. It dropped in 2016, long after everyone had already moved on to the PS4. The print run was ridiculously small. And let's be honest, it's a terrible game. The loading screens have the same fun factor as the game itself. But in the collecting world, terrible and extremely late is code for extremely rare and painfully expensive. This is often the final piece that completes a full PS3 set. So if you ever spot it on a shelf, don't think, don't hesitate, don't even breathe. Just buy it.
As the end of the match approaches. Yes, we're getting into the final minutes now.
Front Mission Evolved. Front Mission Evolved. The ultimate case of be careful what you wish for. The fans were begging Square Enix for a deep, tactical RPG, and instead, they delivered a generic third-person mech shooter. The backlash was almost impressive. It was instant, it was brutal, and retailers couldn't scrub it from their shelves fast enough. Because it didn't fit the proper Front Mission vibe, it was basically discarded by history. But let's be real, it still has the Square Enix logo on the box. And as every collector knows, sooner or later, everything Square Enix touches finds a cult following and a massive price hike. Right now, it's in that dangerous, cheap, but slowly vanishing phase. My advice? Grab it now while it's still just a random game in a bin.
The army's already mobilized. We're going to war.
Mayhem. It's a demolition derby game with a fun comic book style. And yes, it actually came with freaking 3D glasses. Because it looked like a cheap budget title, most collectors thought it was super common. Turns out, it's not. Hunting down a complete copy with the 3D glasses still sealed inside the case is surprisingly difficult. It's a genuinely fun and stylish game that got totally buried under all the bigger releases at the time. Honestly, I think it is the perfect finale for this video. A game that's cool, actually doesn't suck, is pretty rare, and was completely ignored by most people. There's a very fine freaking line between being a dedicated collector and an absolute freaking lunatic, and I think hunting for Germany's next top model is exactly where we cross that line. But hey, if the shelf has a gap, we find the game. It's not about the quality anymore. It's about the completion, you know? If you're currently in the trenches, hunting for any of these 15 titles, I am rooting for you. The funny thing is, many of these aren't even hidden in a vault. You can actually find them on Vinted or eBay right now for a few bucks. But they're so obscure that most collectors simply forget to look for them until it's almost too late. Whether it's the ghosts like NASCAR 14 or the final bosses like DeBlob, don't let the rarity get to you. That last piece of the puzzle is out there, probably sitting on a random listing waiting for you to notice it. So tell me, which trash game in your collection are you actually secretly proud to own? Drop a comment below because I'm dying to see your weirdest trophies. If you enjoyed the hunt, hit that subscribe button. I'm Collector Queen, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one, and happy hunting!